right now? Okay, great. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to CMKL Special Talk in episode 5. My name is Guitar, and I will be your moderator for today. All right, since today is the Women International Day, so our university is proud to present the entering of the WomanVerse, Women in AI Computer Engineering. At CMKL, we are passionate about encouraging women and girls into STEM, and we are proud to host our first Women in AI Engineering talk. So, a lot of people might have questions. Is it suitable for women to study engineering? So today, you're gonna meet our 4 women engineering. They will share their experience and insight of expertise with us. So first, let me introduce our speakers. The first person is Dr. Oratai Sangpet. She's graduate BS, MS, and PhD at Carnegie Mellon University. And right now, she's our Vice President and faculty at CMKL University, Thailand. Moreover, she also an adjunct faculty in the electrical and computer engineering at Carnegie Mellon University, USA. Next, we have Dr. Sally E. Golden. She is also graduate PhD from Carnegie Mellon University. And right now, she is our assistant teaching professor at CMKL University, Thailand. Next, we have Kun Pishaporn Likhit Panjamanon. She graduated from Faculty of Computer Engineering from King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi, Thailand. And right now, she is working as API platform analyst at ExxonMobil company. And our last speaker, Kun Malika Panhong. She graduated from Faculty of Computer Engineering from King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi. And right now she is working as Associate Cross Solution Architect at Microsoft Thailand and focusing on data and AI. All right, welcome everyone, welcome again. All right, I'm so excited to talk to you. All right. So let's get started for the first question for Dr. Oratai. Could you please tell us how you came to study computer engineering and what inspired you to walk in this way and how was your path?
So thank you for your introduction. Let me, I think you guys already want to get to know me a little bit. So actually, you know, I'm not originally in Bangkok. I'm just, you know, some kids in the other province. I came to Bangkok for my high school and then I take the exam. Then I get a Thai scholarship. So back then, I don't really think much. I'm just thinking that I want to go abroad. I want to travel. So that's how I came about. I don't really think about, you know, what I'm going to learn. I was remembered that I was choosing between, you know, going to medical track or going to the engineering. It's like, you know, that's how like people back there or, you know, parents want you to be. And these two is quite different. And I think I remembered I think last year in high school, I got a chance to, you know, go into the different wards in hospital. And one of them is ER. After ER, I made my decision. I'm not going to be a doctor. That's how it came about. And, you know, since I have the two choices, being an engineer or be a doctor. So I was like, go for the engineers. I didn't really think about, the future, in the long future, but I was like, yeah, if I get a scholarship, I can go abroad and I want to travel. So that's how I was thinking back then. It's pretty, silly and really short-sighted, but that's how, teenager works back then. That's how I thought about it. And then when I got a scholarship, and then we went there to US, and when we have to repeat the high school for a year so that we can prepare for the US applications, because the system is quite different. So I got in touch with some of the friends that they already in college. So I visit like Carnegie Mellon, I visit other universities, and I like how Carnegie Mellons are like, they're not really too big, and it's pretty, the environment sort of like small. You can go to a different school, and they're kind of open. So I was like, and I like my friends. So see, all my reason is like, it's not really toward the education, but yeah, I like my friends there. So I was like, yeah, why not? I apply for it, and then I apply, and then I got accepted. Yeah, and that's how it came about. And when I studied, luckily that Carnegie Mellon, where they value diversities, so that's make my education a lot simpler and better, because there's a lot of like race, like you can find everyone's there, women, men, even though the percentage of the women in engineering is not that much yet. Back then it's like a 10 or 15, and I'm Asian as well, so back then everyone looks different, so who cares? I'm just one of them, and I'm just focused on my work and focus on the study. So I really, my attitude wise, I didn't pick out the differences. Just everyone is equal. That's how I think about things. Yeah.
All right, interesting. I don't think that you have been like study in the medical before and then you just change to study engineering. Is it like difficult in the third part?
No, because I love math and science. I still like biology, but I just don't like to fix people. I think it's too much of the responsibilities. I admire, all the doctors that they take on those responsibilities. I would rather be with the machines. I can control the machines, and we can build the machines. So that's, I like and enjoy my work. Yeah.
All right. So I heard that you mentioned about the scholarship. Do you think that women could get fewer opportunity for scholarship to study engineering than men?
I never thought of that. From when I grew up, I thought like men and women have the equal chance. I don't know whether I'm too naive or not, but I never really picked those things out. I'm just do my best, and from what I see, I want to show people that I can do, right. That is always my my goals. So I don't really compare myself because I'm a woman, I need a special treat. I'm just like, I can do everything. I can fix things. I love to how things work. I play with guys, and when they hang out, we do things, right? So I was like, you can do it, I can do it too. So that's how my attitude is. And luckily that whatever the environment I have been in, they never makes a distinction and make you feel like you are the minor or anything, right? But from time to time, yeah, they always have like a special event for women. For example, even the shirt that I'm wearing is like women in ECE. We always have the dessert kind of event, because they said they want to ramp up the number of girls in the university. So that's why we always get that kind of event. I loved it, but in terms of working, I don't really like always have those kind of thoughts in my mind. I'm just like, oh, you and me, we are colleagues, right? The guys, and we can do things, and we can do exactly the same thing. So it depends whether you can do it or not. So if I study hard, I work hard, so that should do it. Yeah. So even after like during my PhD year, I went to Silicon Valley, and I worked at VMware for a year. a year and a half. Yeah, in the companies, there's not a lot of women either, because you know, mostly it's a tech and engineering department, but most of the time I don't really, you know, picked out, oh, a few women in here. It's just like, I like this work, and I'm a specialist here, and I just focus on the work. Yeah, and that's how people, you know, evaluating you on. They're not really picking out because I'm a girl or I'm a woman, right? At least that's how the environment I have been in. So that's why I said I was lucky, so that, you know, I can do whatever I like, and they are not really, you know, discriminate against like who I am. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So if every girl has their goals, so they can do everything they want, right? All right, for the next question, what do you think are the obstacles to women entering the engineering field, and why don't more women go into the engineering fields?
Maybe because, you know, they don't get introduced to, they just don't know what the works look like. If you're a woman, I would really suggest, you know, recommend you, you know, to come on this path, like a computer engineering. It's not like civil engineering that you have to go to the site, do the construction, right? Here you're writing code, you design, you know, architecture of the software and hardware. So I think it's really best fit. Even now, I'm working in this field. I'm still passionate and really excited, you know, what's ahead of me. And I think most of the time, because they don't know what is this work is all about, because most of the time, then you're not gonna see us, right? Because we work, you know, with the servers, and the best work that we can do, the user wouldn't notice. Okay, that is how seamless it would be. So yeah, most of the time they just don't know what we do. I think if we can, you know, have the opportunities, building communities, so that the girl in the high school or whatnot, they can come and see what we do. I think that would be great. I think they will fall in love, yeah, with it.
All right, thank you very much. For the next question, what's your advice for young women thinking about or interest in engineering?
I would say try it. Don't, you know, don't feel afraid or intimidated. Or if someone say differently, don't care. Just do it. Okay. Most of the time, my attitude is that you can say whatever you want to say. I'm gonna do what I think is right, right? So I'll try that, and most of the time that's how I do things. So that's why yeah, from time to time when you sit in the table and just notice that, oh, I'm the woman here again, but who cares? I'm telling myself, who cares? I just do my work. That's how I do, and we show them what we can do, and yeah, you will get accepted. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So next questions for Kun Si and Kun Japan. All right. Could you please tell us about your experience as undergraduate and your work's experience since then?
Okay, so maybe, okay, I can start first. So I want to tell about like my journey first. So when I was in high school, I had a chance to join Thailand National Software Contest, and after the competition end, you know, it has like a boot camp which allow us to develop our product or our software and deliver it to the real users. And during that time, I think my team we're working on learning software for the children, and we got so like many good suggestions from the committees and feedback from the real user. And this experience kind of inspired me because the real user said that our software might be like useful for them to learn like Thai subject. So it's kind of inspired me to study study computer engineering, because like I witnessed that the technology can be really useful in our daily life and our society. Yeah, so that's why I choose to study computer engineering first. So maybe she can tell about her journey yet. Yeah.
my story is so different from hers. Like it doesn't sound very like impressive, or it even more sounds of like a cliche story. But my computer engineering part starts with playing games. Yeah, you know, back then there was a game called Spore, which I was very addicted to. It was like a kind of a god game that simulated your life of being a supernatural creature growing from a cell stage, and you have to decide like how you would grow your species to evolve. You want your species to evolve and like work with creating and leading the tribe, something like that, and even traverse throughout the various galaxy to like conquer the planets. And by playing that game, I was extremely inspired by the game and my passion of exploring the galaxy, like out there, like the real galaxy out there begins. So I had a dream that one day I would be working at NASA as an astronaut. So the first step of you to begin like career path at NASA is to study computer engineering, and that was the reason why I joined computer engineering at KMUTT, which is like close to my hometown. And at that time, it offered a twin program that which you can spend 2 years in Thailand and another 2 years in USA. And I was very interested in that. Yeah.
All right, interesting. So one of you said that technology is useful in daily life. So could you please give more example? What kind of technology that you think is useful for student who is studying in the university? What application or what kind of AI that you would like to share with them?
So back then, we had a chance at that time, AI and data science was really a thing, and we have an opportunity to study kind of machine learning and business intelligence and kind of stuffs. So we have many hands-on projects and project-based learning kind of style. So we realized that AI and data science technology can help make things possible. For example, you can things that was impossible back then can be possible right now with data and AI and artificial intelligence things. Yeah, we did also work in our senior project working using this kind of technology. I think it's still very a thing nowadays. And if you explore more about blockchain things, kind of technology is really useful for today's life, and it's very great thing to explore for a student who want to continue their career path in technology.
All right, thank you very much. And next questions, are you using AI technology in your current work?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for my current work, as your introduction, right now I'm working as a API platform analyst at ExxonMobil company, and mainly my responsibility will focus on maintaining the API platform. We provide all of the things for user to deploy the API on our platform, such as CI/CD pipeline, and I also responsible for some of cloud platform too. And I think that my job role doesn't relate much with data or AI, but I do join the analytics community of practice in my organization. So community of practice is kind of the club that gather the people who are interested in the same thing together. And in that community, we are working on some of real business use case that I can share. The real business use case that we working on is marine container forecast. So data science and ML techniques are used in this business use case in order to predict the number of containers that the company need to allocate in each month. So with by applying data science and ML, it can help the company reduce the cost that they need to pay ahead in for like container allocation. And from my work experience, I think this field, data science and ML, can also be applied in like for detection, and it would be very useful in the organization and real business world. Yeah.
All right. How about you, can see? Do you using any AI technology in your work?
Yeah. So after I graduated, I joined a company. It's more of like a business unit under the government organization. And I was working with helping other organizations, like government organizations, to accelerate their digital transformation. They use data to, accelerate their work inside and deliver like business goals. And I also contribute in a project called Health Link. I don't know if anyone of you have heard about this, but it was a platform that makes use of a big data system to allow like healthcare information to be exchanged, the information of patients to be exchanged across like hospitals or medical centers for the purpose of like healthcare system improvement. So I think it's very useful and very practical, and it's you can see obvious results of this. And also currently, as I am working as a cloud solution architect at Microsoft Thailand, focusing on data and AI area. With my knowledge and experiences, I consult for both government organization and private organizations who wants to manage their data system, do data integration, data analysis thing, adopt AI and machine learning for their their data analysis workload to answer their business goal. So I can see many real impacts of adopting data science and AI technologies for the internal and external work in our organization. So it's very practical and very useful in today's situation.
Thank you very much. And do you think that while you were studying, do you have any obstacle to be in the engineering field?
I think in terms of diversity, I think there is no obstacle for us. So at first, I think we both thought that entering the engineering faculty, there will be a lot of men, not much of women.
Speaking language.
Yeah, but actually it's not. Yeah, I think the percentage of women and men in my faculty is kind of half, I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think in my perspective, there is there is no obstacle for me to entering or studying in engineering. Yeah.
All right. And how about Kunsi? Do you have any obstacles?
Yeah, same as Japan. Before we enter the university, our stereotype would be computer engineering, men, geeks, something like that. But when we did join the faculty, our picture in our head was gone. We realized that there were so many women interested in computer engineering also. And I met a lot of friends, and our life at studying computer engineering was very great and very good. Yeah, and we also realized that there is no, as Japan said, no gender barrier in engineering, because I think all of us have potential, whether we are male or female. We have potential to improve and to develop our skills equally.
All right. And what is your favorite part to be in study in engineering?
Favorite part?
The most favorite?
The most favorite part, I think like I can separate it in like if it in terms of like hard skill, I think I love all the course that related with software programming and also data. In terms of environment, I think if I think all like through my all experience in my undergrad, I think I love all of the environment in our faculty because the staff and the teachers is very like helpful and really kind, and also I made a lot of good friends here that we we share the thing, we study together, like try to pass the exam together.
All right, interesting. Thank you very much. And next, we are going to ask the question with Dr. Sally. All right. Why do you need more women in AI, Dr. Sally?
Do you mind if I share my screen?
Certainly.
Okay, but first, before I do that, let me just give a 2-minute summary about my path. I did not start out in engineering, but I was always interested in science. And as an undergraduate, I went through about 3 different majors before I figured out what I was going to do. And if you happen to look at my bio, you would notice I did not graduate in computer engineering, but rather in cognitive psychology. Still, I took a lot of science. I took a lot of math. I took several computer science programming courses just because they were interesting and it seemed like it'd be useful. And I went to Carnegie Mellon because Carnegie Mellon was a pioneer in using computers to model human cognition. Okay, and this was actually a collaboration between Herbert Simon in the psychology department and Alan Newell in the computer science department. So this actually supports what Ajahn Oratai was saying about Carnegie Mellon having like the different departments worked really closely together. It was a very interdisciplinary and also a very casual environment. Okay, so I did quite a lot of programming when I was in graduate school, but I wasn't really a computer engineer. And then my first job was doing research at a place where there were a lot of computer scientists, a place called Rand Corporation. I worked in research for a couple of years. And then I felt like I wasn't creating anything that was really solving any real world problems. I was doing research, I was writing papers, and I discovered I had a more practical interest. So I switched and started working as a software engineer. And so I don't actually have a lot of training in computer engineering, software engineering, but I have like 20 years experience as a software engineer. And now I have almost 20 years experience teaching software engineering. So I guess my point here is that everybody's path is different and you don't really know where you're going to end up. And you don't necessarily have to think about what is going to be my career because you may have multiple careers over your lifetime. So let me answer your questions by sharing my screen, because I mean, I was really happy to hear C and Japan talk about what a great experience at KMUTT. One of the amazing things about KMUTT was the number of women. As they said, it was almost half women. And because of that, I think it was a great environment, maybe better environment for learning than a place where there's only a few women. Not because of bias necessarily, but because of focus. So I personally think that AI needs more women. Okay, there have been, incredible number of advances in AI in the last, let's say, decade. There are real world applications out there and new ones all the time, but most of the applications, the bulk of them, are medical, including very high-tech medical, right? Commercial or financial. Okay, so the people who are really spending big money on AI are the people who want you to buy things from them. Okay, I mean, this is just the truth of the matter. And yes, this keeps the economy running, but I personally feel that this doesn't take advantage of all the power of AI. And in particular, I feel that AI has huge potential for addressing societal problems. Heaven knows we have a lot of them. AI can be used for mitigating hunger, for improving food security, for increasing agricultural productivity. AI can be and has been used for disaster preparedness and response, for urban planning. For example, you can use AI for analyzing satellite images and other kinds of geographic information to both measure the current characteristics of an urban environment and help you plan how to develop your urban environment sustainably. I was just reading an article about flooding in Bangkok, where they claim that really we need to embrace flooding, not try to fight it, because Bangkok will always flood. Okay. Lifelong education, including digital literacy, and that includes being able to distinguish between real news and fake news. There's a lot of interest in using AI for that. And other things like human trafficking. I read a very interesting article a few years ago about a human trafficking AI that was trying to recognize from the backgrounds of images of women who were being basically sold for sex, where they were being held. Okay, and also domestic violence. There was a recent article about how chatbots can help women who can't get in touch with a person. If they can get in touch with a chatbot after, let's say, they've fled from an abusive relationship, it can give them both support and also information. So what does this have to do with women? Well, I suppose that this is a bit of a prejudice, but I think that women may be more interested in solving these kinds of problems. And I loved what Japan said about, you know, getting hooked on computer engineering because she worked on this project that was related to education. So AI needs more women, at least partially, because I think that the full potential of AI is not being realized. Because maybe there's just too much focus on these financial and commercial applications. Not that they're not important, but they're not by any means the universe of what AI could do. It's interesting that neither John Oratai nor Japan nor C talked about having any obstacles. And I actually think Thailand may be better than the United States as far as that's concerned. I've talked to women and even my former students who didn't feel comfortable with engineering, even though they were in an engineering program. They were afraid that, you know, they hadn't been programming since they were in junior high school, so they didn't have a background knowledge. They were afraid that they wouldn't be able to do the math. They were concerned about competition because engineering programs, everybody's doing the same thing, and it, you know, you worry, where are you going to be in the grade ranking? And I think that some women are turned off by the focus on male-oriented problems that you sometimes see in AI. So one of the reasons that I was really excited about having this event today is I wanted to talk a little bit about our new AICE program at CMKL, AI and computer engineering. And we're starting this in August. There are about a month left for applications.
Yes. And
we would like to get more women applying. Okay, so I want to tell you, if you're a woman and you're listening, why you should apply to AICE. And in particular, what is it about AICE that will help you deal with maybe some of these problems? Okay, so before coming to CMKL, I was at KMUDT, and KMUDT is a great university, but it has a very traditional curriculum. It's very demanding. Most learning is in course, you know, like formal courses, lectures, exams. There are some projects. A lot of the projects are kind of within a course, so you don't necessarily get to do a large project until you do your senior project. And by the way, I was on Japan and C's on their committee, and their senior project was fabulous. One of the best. They did a taxi information and recommendation system, which was just one of the best senior projects I have ever seen. But before that, everything is kind of, okay, you do a database project, you do a object-oriented design project, you do a data mining project. okay, the AICE curriculum is radically different. It's kind of an experiment, but we're building a curriculum which is flexible, self-paced, interdisciplinary, and real-world focused. And how are we doing that? Well, we don't have courses. Instead, our focus is on something called competencies. A competency is smaller than a course. It's a set of closely related skills that can be measured, not by an exam, but by doing something, by doing a project, by doing, exercises or whatever. And you can't really read this diagram on the side here, but if you go to the CMKL website, you can see an earlier version, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be updating this because this is still a work in progress, I must say. So we have a variety of pillars, and each pillar has competencies within them. And the 4 really important pillars for sort of the core are sort of artificial intelligence fundamentals, human-centered design, which includes things like how do you create a user experience that's going to make a user most effective in what they're trying to do, cybersecurity, and scalable systems. So you look at all this and you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is like even harder than KMUTT. But the AICE curriculum involves designing your own path. So here are some sample competencies. This is not all of them. This is only maybe about half of them, or maybe even fewer. So we have things like probability-based models, neural networks and deep learning, logic-based models, programming, algorithms and data structures, AI, different AI applications. You don't have to do all of these, okay? There are some required competencies, but then there are a lot of other competencies that you can choose based on your interests. Okay, so every student is basically going to be following a different path through our program. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you're not going to be competing with anyone except yourself. Okay, if you don't have the background knowledge, you can study and get it. You can spend the time you need to learn the fundamentals. Okay, on the other hand, if you already have some of the fundamentals, you don't have to waste your time in a class being bored with everybody else. If you can demonstrate you already have the competencies, you can move on to more advanced topics. Okay, the other aspect of the AICE program that's really important is that we're right from the beginning, students are going to start working on projects, projects that are proposed by real world stakeholders. So you'll be working in a team, and the projects also will be focused on competencies, maybe more advanced levels of the same competencies. So anyway, this is a really different kind of learning experience. And I think it's a learning experience that's particularly well suited to women. Okay, why? Because you have more choice. And if you want to work on applications that are related to food security or assistive technologies or educational technology, I mean, one of the things that's been concerning me a lot over the COVID era is the problems that particularly elementary school kids are having learning, because they don't really have the resources or the skills to do online learning. And I feel that AI and computer engineering, can and should be applied there. And that's like the next generation of Thailand's kids, So anyway, my point is that if you're listening to this and you're thinking, AI is too hard, computer engineering is too hard, or I don't want to do it because I don't want to build robots. I'm not interested in building robots. Okay, you don't have to build robots if that's not your interest. Okay, if you like building robots, I'm sure that they'll be building robot competencies, but maybe you want to do something else. Okay, so that's why that's my message that I wanted to particularly get out to anyone who's listening here. Even a traditional computer engineering program is going to be less of a problem than you might think, given what C in Japan have said, but if you're looking for something a little different, you might consider joining us because we want you. We need you. I want AICE to be 50% women, the way KMUTT was 50% women. So please join us.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Sally. So why do you think it is like important to encourage young girls to consider STEM careers?
Because I think women bring something different to the table. You know, I mean, this is maybe generalizing, but I do think that women have somewhat different concerns. The other thing is that from my experience working with male and female students, frequently women have a different cognitive style. I think women tend to be more patient when they're studying, when they're programming. You know, I think women often are more disciplined. The other thing is that, again, this is like not true of every woman, not true of every guy, but there's a lot of emphasis on women being good at communication. Less of an emphasis on guys. And communication is incredibly important in the tech world. There's this myth that the person who works in tech sits in a cubicle all day by himself, and it's always a guy, right? Eating pizza, drinking Coca-Cola, pounding on the keyboard, you know, until 2 in the morning until they collapse, and then they sleep under their desk. Okay, that's not the way it is. Okay, I worked in tech in a bunch of different companies in the US for many years. Communication is the key to successful tech. Almost every project is a team-based effort. And if you cannot communicate with your team, doesn't matter how good your tech is, doesn't matter how smart the people on your team are, your project will fail. And I'm sure that C and Japan will agree with me, even from having been out in the working world for a couple of years. Okay, so women, it isn't just that I feel that everyone should have equal opportunities, which I do. I also feel that because of the way their culture treats women and the kinds of skills that they're encouraged to develop, that they bring something special that can enhance everything we do in computer engineering and AI.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sally. So right now I am going to give you some space to discussion, and Dr. Sally will be lead for these sessions for me.
Oh yeah?
Yes, please.
Gee, I didn't know that. Let me see. Well, so I haven't actually seen C in Japan for a couple of years. So let me ask you, what do you think was the most important lesson you learned at KMUTT? And it doesn't have to be a tech lesson, you know. What did you take away from your undergraduate education that you sort of use most?
I think for me is collaboration skill, because as you mentioned before, we had like a lot of hand-on session, a lot of project that we need to work on, and some of project we might get some different team members, so we need to apply ourselves in different environment, like, you know, like working with this guy may different from working with C or other guys. Yeah, so it really helped me in the real work experience too, because yeah, I need to like work with the team that I haven't met before. Like I just come to the team and okay, we work together. Okay.
Right, you
Yeah.
don't get to choose your teammates, right? You
Yeah.
have to live with whoever you work
we,
with.
like
Right.
we are assigned to this team. We need to work on this team, and we need to be able to like get it done. Yeah.
For me, I think like the very important skills that I have learned and I use, like still use it in my current work. It's like to be able to learn by yourself and to have like mindset, because like as I was studying in the college, like there were so many like projects and like work that we have to do. The professor taught us like many things, and we studied many things, but there were parts that we have to explore for ourselves to like to gain like skills that we hadn't learned from the class, from the classroom. And also like working in the technology related field, you have to keep yourself like updated with new technologies and contents and many knowledge that comes through your mind. So yeah, it has to like keep yourself like like learn all the time. It's a good thing that I think it can help you to work well in this kind
I'm really glad that you brought that up, because somebody said that the ability to learn by yourself is the only competitive advantage, right? Because it doesn't matter how well you know the tech is changing all the time. So I'm really happy that you were able to do that, even though I feel, compared to the AICE program, I feel like the KMUTT program is a little bit rigid. I used to really worry about the students having so much work, have to take so many required courses, that they weren't able to get really in deep with any of their courses. And so, this was a problem, at least for some students. Dr. Oratai, you have anything you want to share, or also to ask C in Japan? Because I mean, we basically have 3 generations here, 3 generations of computer engineers.
Right. I just want to share, like, it's all like some of the things on your slide. And I think I want to echo some of that. Like, some women might fear that, oh, I don't have X, I don't have that background knowledge, I don't have someone to support me, or I don't have blah blah blah, right? Actually, that happens too. Like in my life, because parents might seeing that, oh, engineer might not be for girl. So they might even have doubts whether you can do it or not, right? Even, all those doubts around you. I just want to tell you that don't let those doubt or your fear prevent you from what you want to do, okay? I want you to have the belief in yourself. If you believe it, everything is possible. I want you to, if you want to seek, like, I know certain women, they don't know who to talk to. They want some sort of mentors and someone to talk to. Like I said, that's why we have these kind of communities, right? So that you can talk, you can, how should I handle myself in certain situation? Because from the entire my life, many times I see I'm only girl, I'm only woman in that group, in that table. A lot of negotiation, and I have seen those kind of things. And you can be there. You can be that person. Don't let your fear, pull you back. And you are the first person to tell yourself that you cannot do it, right? You should tell yourself that you can, okay? But if you need, the support, yeah, that's why we are here, right? Reach out to us. We want to see more, even though, you're not coming to this university and whatnot. I still want to see more women in this field. And every single person, we bring different things to the table. And yeah, there are a lot of things that we can do, and having the different diversities, men and women, we are thinking everyone have a different opinions, right? But at the end of the day, when we come to the agreement, amazing thing happens. Yeah, so I want to encourage any students or high school students that are thinking, oh, I'm a woman, I'm limited I'm limited to this kind of career path, right? Because people have said that thing, show that thing to you. Don't let that just be you, okay? You define you who you are. And if you think you are, oh, am I too crazy? No, I'm one of them, okay? People in my life telling me, are you crazy? All the time. Right now, I'm just take it as a compliment, okay? Just go with it, and that's how it is. Anyway, so that's my a few things that I want to share. Yeah.
Actually, you made me think of this sort of a separate question, but a lot of times people say, well, what kind of job can I get, if I study AI and computer engineering? And I would say whatever kind of job you want. Right now, worldwide, but especially in Thailand, we don't have nearly enough people who are good, skilled, mature computer engineers, let alone, I'm not even talking about AI, okay? And let me just also say that, AI is not really separate. AI has been held up as like, oh, it's this magical thing. It's just software, okay? Software and math. And it seems to do magical things because it has some abilities, as particularly thinking of machine learning, has the ability to discover really subtle patterns in large amounts of data. And this is something that people don't do well at. On the other hand, people do well at things that AI doesn't do well. So anyway, I kind of lump AI in as part of computer engineering. And we desperately need people in Japan and C's generation, and in the next cohort of students who are going to be freshmen next year. If you want to work in this field, you will have your choice of jobs, and you will be paid well. And the other thing about, I think both of you will probably agree, and is that the jobs are pretty interesting, and you can make your own path in your workplace as well, because there's such a shortage of people who have these skills. If you decide you want, like, let's say you get hired as a DevOps engineer, okay, and you do it for a while, and you decide, well, I like this company, but I don't really like being a DevOps engineer. Well, you can transition to, let's say you want to become a back-end developer. You're not stuck, because there's a lot of different aspects of computer technology. And as Steve says, there are a lot of resources available for you to improve your skills, broaden your skills. So from a work perspective, you think about, some people used to go and work at a factory, and they went to the factory every day for like 20 years, and finally they retired, and that was their life. That's not what it's like to be a computer engineer. It's always new, it's always interesting. If your boss is not treating you well, your company is not treating you well, you don't have to be afraid to leave and find a better job, because right now you will find a better job. And speaking of which, I'm looking for a developer right now and having a really hard time finding a back-end developer. So if you know somebody who's like a really good back-end developer, let me know. So anyway, it's quite apart from the enjoyment of working in this field, it can also be, just from a practical perspective, it's a really good career. It has novelty, it has advancement, it has flexibility. So
I want to second that. Actually, the demand is worldwide. In US, because I got friends in all the big names company, the tech companies in Seattle, in California, because I used to work there, and they're asking, they just want a good people. I used to work there, and life is good. Anyway, so when we interview people, I don't even look at what degrees do they have. We're shooting the question, and we're asking them, can you do this? Can you do that? Because at the end of the day, we want people that can work and be a good addition to the team, right? So that is the most important thing, because if you don't know what you're supposed to know, why are you here, right? All members in the team is like, oh, why are you here? We don't really need that. And like Dr. Sally said, right now the job landscape is keep changing, especially the tech industries. And you think, oh, my job, my career only go to the tech firm. No, it's not. Right now I'm working with the different industries. Every single industries want us. I have projects with the oil and gas company. I have, with the agricultures. We have the projects with the hospital. Every single industries needs our expertise. So we have to work with them, and they have to work with us too, right? It's pretty exciting and very, bright future ahead of you if you design to go to this path. Yeah.
Actually, to piggyback on what Dr. Oratai said about when we interview people, and this actually is when we interview for people to work at CMKL, and we're looking for professors, by the way, or when we interview students. What you know is sort of important, but actually your attitude is more important, okay? If you have the attitude that C described, I can learn it. If I don't know it, I can learn it, right? And also, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like define yourself in a really small box, I am a data scientist. Don't give me any programs to write. I'm a data scientist, okay? Or I only do AI, or I only write Python, okay? That kind of narrowness is not good for your career, and that's not what people look for. That's certainly not what we look for. We look for, oh, okay. I've never done that before, but I'm willing to try. I've never designed a curriculum before, but I'm willing to try. So as you look into your future of education, your attitude is really important. And, even if you feel like your background is weak, if you're willing to put in the work and reach out for help, then you will be able to get what you need,
All right, thank you very much, everyone. So next we're going to next section for Q&A. So if our participant, 18 people participant here, have any question, you can drop the question in the chat box and we will answer all of the questions. All right, first question from Kun AA Ang. Would graduates from Thailand have the same curriculum as their American counterparts?
Do you mean graduates from CMKL?
I think yes.
No, actually, we're ahead of Carnegie Mellon. Carnegie Mellon is still course-based. And so this is actually a very unique and brave experiment that we're doing. I mean, in terms of the topics, I would say the coverage of the topics is very similar. In terms of the way that the information will be approached and organized, very different, very different.
All right.
Let me add that to that a little bit. In terms of the content, the area or the knowledge that you're supposed to know, that we base on different degrees. Like for example, AI in I think a School of Computer Engineering at Carnegie Mellon. We look some from electrical and computer engineering at Carnegie Mellon as well. But the way we execute it, it will be different because we do not. That the student would benefit the most by going to the same thing, same course, like in that way, because we know that we kind of notice, or even me, I remind myself when I was a student, different people have a different pace, right? And certain thing, when you go into projects, certain knowledge you will be needed, and you gotta learn, right? You are a self-learner, you motivated. Why we cannot give you the credits, right? We don't want to have those kind of rigid course so that you said, oh, so that you cannot get the credits for it, or you cannot learn such a thing. So we don't want that to become the barrier. Okay, so we want to prepare you. If some of you want to continue your graduate study at Carnegie Mellon, we have our, master degrees and PhD degrees in electrical and computer engineering. Those two programs, you will get Carnegie Mellon degrees. You will spend half of the time at Carnegie Mellon as well. Like I said, we know who we are looking for, and that's why we prepare you to have all those things so that, you will be strong enough to, continue your graduate study.
All right, next questions. If everyone has different competency, how will classes be taught?
Shall I take that one? Okay, we plan to offer a wide range of sort of what I will call learning experiences. And every week there'll be a schedule of like the learning opportunities related to different competencies. So some of those, a few of them will be maybe lectures. A lot of them will be discussions or labs. And the students will be able to attend these based on the competencies for which they've registered. And you will have to design and make commitments to a set of competencies within a certain range of time. Normally universities have this idea of a add drop date, right? You can add and drop courses until, so we're sort of borrowing that idea, and you can add and drop competencies until that date, and then you're committed for the semester. And so it will be much more flexible. And we're not 100% sure exactly how it's going to work, to be honest. I mean, we haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Right. To add in a little bit, you can think as like competencies like a modules, like it's kind of smaller than the entire semester. And if you are really motivated and I really have the level of competency or the level of skill and knowledge to complete it sooner, you can do so, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we decided, so that you don't have to stuck here for the whatever time the clock that it has to be. That's why we're trying to be flexible in terms of the pace that you're going to go. But like you said, this is new. We try our best to to make it so that the student will get the most benefit out of it in terms of learning. And
Actually, the opposite part of that is that if you think you need more time, okay, like if you already really have the basic ideas of a subject, you don't have to take a lot of time. You can go and take the assessment immediately. On the other hand, let's just say you've never done programming before. You can take it at your own pace, okay, because you're not being pushed. And I know when I was teaching programming every year, some of the students said, you're going too fast. And I'm sure I was going too fast for them, because when you're teaching a course, you have to kind of adapt the rate for about the middle of the group, right? So I would also have really, really good students who were bored, so we're trying to avoid that also.
Yeah. Either too fast or too slow. We always get that all the time because we have to gather.
See in Japan, didn't you find that sometimes like you were bored in classes?
A few times, but sometimes when things get like too slow because maybe others ask question or don't even understand about this, but we do understand, because different understand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you very much. So for the next question, does master degree important for joining the international company like Meta, Google, or Microsoft?
I would say it gives you, it open more opportunities for you. Okay. When you get to do that, like especially if you would like to join some of companies in US, one of the complication is your visa. Okay, I would say that. And if you just come from the international, like, and go in there, you want to go to the headquarters, this is one of the complications, is a visa. And legal fees and hours in US is so expensive. So that's why they have, you get to a lot of consideration to hire someone like, from abroad. But if you continue the master degrees, which is giving you, more depth in wherever you want to go, that help you in terms of your skill, your knowledge, and make it easier, because of given a student visa, when you finish your second year, you will have opportunities to do the work, so that make transition smoother. I would suggest, yeah. And I think I saw one of the questions saying, what about the faculties, right? Teaching in AICE. Like I said, we are, right now, we already have a graduate program in electrical and computer engineering, the one that have a dual degrees. So our faculties here, whoever taught, whoever, teach in this program, they have to be, in a way, certified, so that they can teach certain courses that can transfer. Otherwise, we cannot count toward the credits for the Carnegie Mellon degrees. So yeah, we are using the same set of the faculties, and even for our undergrads in AICE, we got opportunities to join R&D projects, because right now we have a lot of projects going on, and many teams. We have Carnegie Mellon's team, we have the US team, you have a team in Thailand. Yeah, you're free to join, and actually it's part of the curriculums too. Yeah, you will get to experience it.
All right. Thank you very much. For the next question, when should I introduce concept of computer programming to my kids?
Whenever. I have 5 people. No, right now he's 6. I have 6-year-old kid.
Is we start.
I read a book. Programming doesn't mean you have to typing things on computers. That's logic, thinking, and the concept. Those can be do it on the papers. And I bought a book that teaching people how to think logically, in the step, the way it should work. And I play this kind of game with him. So you don't need a computer to introduce those kind of concepts, right? I would say, whenever you feel motivated, there's a lot of online resources as well. Right now, there's a lot better than back then, right? Now you have different languages. You have the introductory courses that you can go to and went to. So right now, it depends on whether you feel like you want to start or not. At least my answer.
I will say that not everyone is has the interest or the skills to be a computer engineer. And if that were true, the world would be really in a bad shape, because we just have computer engineers and nobody else, right? So, I mean, it's important that your children like what you introduce to them. And if they don't like it, don't force them, because not everybody has the kind of mind that enjoys developing software, doing engineering, and the people are very diverse. That being said, there are a lot of different kinds of people who do well in computer engineering. So don't think that just because you're not you have to be a real math geek to really do well in computer engineering, because it's not true. I mean, some people who are more artistically inclined still do really well in computer engineering.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Sally. Thank you, Dr. Rathai. Thank you, Kun Si, and thank you, Kun Chetan, to participate with us today. And we have a good news for our participants, that we will give you the draw prize, but we need to make it in a wheel. Let me share it for you. One moment, please. So for anybody who has registered, so we have the name in here, you will get a chance to the prize. And we have 2 special sets of the prize. The first one, you will get a CMKL cup and mini bags. All right. So right now we are going to start with who will be the lucky one. All right, congratulations. Placenta, are you here? If you are here, please contact us later. For the next, all right. Congratulations, Kun Nisha. If you are here, please contact us. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. All right. Before we, do you have anything to like say to everyone before we are leaving? Please start with Dr. Sally.
Well, first of all, I really want to thank C and Japan for joining us. I think it's great to be able to hear from people who are closer in age, and plus it's great to see you, two of my very favorite students. And thank you very much, Dr. Oratai, for sharing your interesting path. And thanks to everyone who joined us. You know, I'm really happy to see, I'm hoping we had, you know, good attendance on Facebook as well. Thank you, Guitar, for moderating or for being our MC. And if you're at all interested, you know, consider applying or ask us for more information. We'd really love to welcome you. And even if you're not, I'm always happy to hear from, you know, young women who would like some feedback. I love to give people advice. That's one of the advantages. You get old, you like get to give people advice. So thank you to all of you and have a good night.
All right, next, Dr. Oratai, please.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here, and you know, whoever listen on Facebook as well, and thank you for our guests here, you know, Japan and what's her name again? I'm sorry. Malika, right? So thank you for being here. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing more women in this field. And if you don't know how to start and you want to have someone to talk to, because I know sometimes it can be hard because we don't know who to talk to, right? I'm willing to be a mentor, okay? I'm not that old yet, but I love to give advice as well. I'm in the middle. I'm getting there, but yeah, I want to help you go to this path, right? Even though you know you might not be exactly here in this university, but I still would like to see more in the industries.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Oratai. Next, Kunsi, please.
I just want to say that like just stay focused and you know like on your like stay focused on your passion and keep doing what you love to like don't underestimate yourself in terms of like you know gender and like many other aspects. Just believe in yourself, as Dr. Oratai said, and do whatever you want.
All right, the last one, Kun Japan, please.
So thank you for an opportunity that to let us share our experience in this session. And I also want to emphasize that you like Dr. Oratai said that you just need to be yourself. You just need to like maybe set the goal. If you want to get it, you need to do it. So, and don't be afraid. If you don't try it, you will not know that you can do it or not. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. To all the girls who are interested to study in engineering field, please confident, don't be shy, don't fear in anything. Just do what you want. Like Dr. Oratai said, do what you want and you will be success in your path. All right. So let's update for our next events. All right, so in this month, we still have another special talk left for 2 episodes. The first one, one moment, please. Oh yeah, actually we have AICE open house. If you are interested, you can like ask the details with us, or you can like send an email to our staff and we will reply. We have the event a lot. Like if you would like to get more information about our upcoming events, please don't forget to like and follow us on our Facebook page. And if you don't want to miss any special talk, you can subscribe our YouTube channel for the reruns. All right. So for our upcoming events, it will be held on Friday, 18 March. Mr. Gavisom is going to talk about incorporating knowledge in deep learning. And next, we're going to have Mr. Sean talking about remote sensing research on Friday, 25th of March. And after that, we're going to have an AICE open house active recruitment on 2nd April. So I hope everyone will join us in this event. All right, see you in the next episode. Goodbye. Thank you, everyone. ขอบคุณค่ะ
ขอบคุณมากค่ะ Bye bye. Thank you very much, Japan and C.